What is up, everyone? So are you an enlisted military here in San Diego and you're wondering, can you afford a home here? Well, this is a question I hear all the time. In fact, I went through the same thing. Welcome to the channel. This channel is all about PCSing to San Diego, California. So even if you're already here, you're stationed here, you're a veteran who is still living here after getting out of the military, hey, welcome to the channel. And on this channel, my sole goal is to help you PCS here smoothly, without issues, but to build wealth in the process. Because I think, you know, like a lot of veterans, even before I moved to San Diego, and got stationed in Miramar with 225 before they went 35s, now they're in Yuma, Arizona, I knew it was expensive here. I was like, dude, there's just no way I can afford a home here. It is way too expensive. And honestly, I was like, you know what? This isn't even worth my time because I'm just gonna waste money getting into a home and all that. And the first time I started looking at real estate, I was still in E3. I was just picking up E4 in the Marines. And you know, I was in a place where, man, I wanted to get in real estate. I didn't quite know how I wanted to do it, but I knew I wanted to get into it. I managed to save up about $10,000, $12,000 from my last deployment. It was 2017, my son was just born, my first one, and I was like, you know what, I want to do this. Well, I didn't feel comfortable in buying in San Diego. In fact, I actually bought my first piece of real estate in Yuma, Arizona. It was an Airbnb and a rental, and we bought it as a second home with about 19% down. I couldn't raise enough money to get the 20% to remove that mortgage insurance, but I was able to buy it as a second home. And one thing I'll say, look, looking back, I probably should have just bought something here, but that rental did great for me. And it destroyed a lot of limiting beliefs inside of my head, realizing, hey, Cameron, you can buy homes across state lines, even if you don't want to buy one where you're stationed. Now, being more into real estate since that time, now they're in 2023, learning a lot along those ways, being a licensed real estate agent here in San Diego, investing in more properties, flipping a condo here. There's a lot I've learned. And, you know, can you afford a home? It is. Can you afford a home in San Diego? Absolutely. But the issue is, so here, I'll give you some good examples. So E5s who have no debt, I've been able to get approved up to around 600,000. Now, does that get you a home here in San Diego? Not really. So you can go to Temecula, Marietta, and you can get a home there. But in terms of getting a single family home here, it's tight. 550, you might find some beat up homes, right? Hold on, dude. Oh yeah? But that doesn't mean it's not a bad decision to purchase. So here's the big factors you need to realize. So can you afford something here in San Diego? Yes. The next question I always asked Enlisted here in San Diego is, does it make sense? Because while it might make sense to some people, right? Hey, we're enlisted, man. We're not making that officer pay, okay? I got officers that can qualify up to $1 million. That ain't us, right? We gotta start somewhere. Thankfully, I bought before COVID and homes were only about 500,000, but that's not what's going on anymore. Now the average home in San Diego is still at least 750. At 600,000, you're gonna find some homes, but you're gonna be competing for them, okay? Doesn't mean it's a bad decision. So if it's just you and a wife or you by yourself, hey, congratulations, Jack. You can get a multifamily property and get some deals there. Heck, I had 2 military members who joined their VA loan together, 2 enlisted personnel, an E6 and an E5. No, it wasn't fraternization. They were both in the Navy, different units, so we were able to get that cleared with their command. They were able to join their VA loan together. So don't forget, you can join your VA loan with another veteran, even if you're married. Now remember, in that case, you are having to consider everyone involved, their credits, their debts, all of that stuff is gonna have to get factored in. But you can join with another veteran, which could be a way that you get into the game, but be cautious because if you have a different plan than them, then it's gonna be chaos in the process. Now, a lot of people look against it. They're like, well, I can't get a home. I can only afford a condo, so I probably don't want to buy something. And I caution you from that advice because if you're gonna be living in that residence for 3+ years, 5 years, from paying down that loan to owning it, you're gonna be okay. you're gonna have some options. You're gonna be able to rent it, you're gonna be able to potentially sell it, you're gonna have options. And the cool thing is like there's a lot of things you can do with your VA loan to kind of cut costs down. A lot of people, especially enlisted, they're like, well, Cameron, I don't want to buy in San Diego. Well, you actually can find a veteran who's selling a home or condo and you can get a lower interest rate. The issue is you have to pay the difference. So they owe $500,000 and you're buying it for $650. Guess what? You're gonna have to come up with that 150 grand. So that's the fear of it, okay? So it exists and you can assume a veteran's low rate, but it's not always the option for anyone. So realize that, you know, the options do exist. The downfall is usually involves time or money or both, and you can't really get around it. Now, I used to attack San Diego before I got stationed here, but it's one of those places where, you know, I used to attack it. It's expensive. Why would I want anything here? Well, guess what? I have seen the error of my ways, and San Diego is a city that even if the market goes up or down, you always, if you hold a home long enough in San Diego, it will work out for you in the right areas, in the right neighborhoods, even if it's a condo. Okay, heck, I've even lived in a condo and I fixed it up because it was a dump and it added about 50 grand in value. And that's without normal appreciation, and the VA loan did cover it, but it was a crap pile. So understand that, you know, it exists, but you're really gonna have to make sure you know what you're doing before getting to some of these situations. Now, if you know you're gonna be stationed here for a while and you just got orders, I highly recommend you look into buying something opposed to renting. But if your debt's even in a bad place, you know, feel free to reach out to me and we can talk about that. But, you know, it's one of those things where you have to be certain that you really wanna get into a home because it's not easy and there are a lot of risks that are associated with it. So once you decide that you want to buy something in San Diego, what's the next steps you should do as Enlisted? So the first thing first is I have it happen all the time. Enlisted reach out to me and they got a lot of credit card debt. They got, oh my God, I've seen lease payments. I've seen all kinds of things that are just off the charts. And it's sad, but you have to make sure you're managing your money right, because if you're not managing your money right, you're not gonna be able to afford a home. And let's be honest, when you're enlisted, you're not making a ton of money, you wanna be able to afford the biggest payment you can. Not that you should, but you want the most options, especially if you know you're barely in a qualifiable state. So make sure you're aware of, you know, your debt, your income. Now, if you have some, that's okay. You can still reach out to like me and the team and we can walk you through it. I have people I can teach you how to fix your credit yourself. It involves phone calls and sending letters. I'm happy to kind of give you insight there. I've been there myself. Heck, when I got in the military, I was like 80 grand in debt, all right? And I still was able to buy real estate, make things happen. So you just have to be aware of what you're getting into and realize it's not a bad situation. Like there are ways to get real estate without needing a regular loan. Just understand, like, enlisted all the time. Like, yeah, I love you guys. I've been there too. You know, I got out as a sergeant, but man, you guys bring up some crazy solutions and like, hey, guess what? You can do crazy things, but it's gonna involve work and you gotta be willing to put it in, all right? So going the standard route, you gotta make sure you fix your debt. You gotta make sure you don't have any crazy bills. If you have that car payment, just try and figure out how to live as cheap as possible. And guess what? You're gonna need, you don't necessarily need a down payment, right, for using a VA loan, but you will need to cover closing costs. Here in San Diego, it's gonna be about 2% of purchase price. Is gonna be how much closing costs you need to have saved up. Now, does that mean you can't get some of it covered? No. But personally, if you don't have at least 1% of closing costs, you need to save up that money. You're gonna need it, no matter what. Normally when you go to buy a home, you're gonna have what's called an earnest money deposit. Now, I don't like to get too deep in technical terms because that's not what these videos are about. These videos are just raw, how to get there. So debt's first. Next thing is, where are you stationed? What base? Whether it's Pendleton, Miramar, 32nd Street, Coronado, where are you stationed? And how far are you willing to drive? That's an important one. Do you have kids? What school do they go to? Does your wife work or your spouse? It has to be a wife. Does your spouse work? Where does your spouse live? All that stuff plays into it. How far are you willing to drive in that traffic? Because that's also gonna dictate your budget, which is part of that expense thing, and where you wanna live. It's all tied together. Now, let's say you can't afford a regular home. What kind of condos will hold value after 3 to 5 years plus? Okay, you wanna make sure it has a garage. Now, not most condos don't, and your condo might not have the budget. That's okay, it's not the end of the world. But if you can get a condo that has a garage, it's a plus. Minimum 2 bedrooms. If you can afford a 3-bedroom condo, that's great. Most budgets for like an E3 and E4, you're probably gonna be in a 2-bedroom situation. That's okay, don't worry about it. Just because it has 2 bedrooms is not the end of the world. Now, obviously, if you have a big family and you need to live on base, that's okay too. It is what it is. But at least 2 bedrooms. If it has 2 bathrooms, that's a huge plus as well, because it holds your value a lot better than something that's like a 2-bed, 1-bath, or like a 1-bed, 1-bath, okay? Unless they're in a situation where you're living for lifestyle, okay? I mean, you know, it's not an easy situation, but those condos can do very well for you. And then you have to be worried about, you know, what is it? They're all gonna have HOA. What does the HOA cost and what are they giving me? Hell, the condo I sold up in Bonsall, their HOA jumped to like $500 to $700 a month for nothing. I mean, it covers water, sewer, and trash, but most of that's fire insurance payment. It's gross. Like it is, oh God. By the way, if this video is shaking really bad because of where the camera is, sorry, but not sorry. Just listen to the audio. But you wanna make sure the condo has, you know, a decent HOA. Are they in good standing? Even if a condo isn't VA approved, which is a thing, and you can always reach out and I'll explain it to you, I can get it approved. As long as the HOA is not in debt and they're not mismanaging, you're good. We can get it VA approved. So don't stress about that, okay? Also, you know, the garage is a big plus if it has it. You know, maybe it'll have a pool, amenities, things like that. Now, the lower you get on the total pool, like if you're trying to get a condo for under $500,000, guess what? It ain't gonna have much. I got a veteran, his wife, back, you know, end of December, they got into a condo that was about $350,000, okay? So they exist. It was a 2-bed, 2-bath, 2nd floor, no garage, but it has a really low HOA and there's only 8 units. So it's kind of like their own thing. Yeah, it is Donovan's school. He's at school, Bubba. Yeah. So, you know, you try and build a situation, okay? Real estate isn't a game that you can just walk in and get a $10 million house. I don't care what you are. Unless all of a sudden you're creating the next Facebook, it's a stepping stone, it's a process, right? I started with a condo, now I'm building a home. Now, for me, I realized I am lucky enough that when I got out of the military, I hop around. So I got a house I'm building in Florida. I'm here most of the year. Like I can go back and forth, and it's the greatest lifestyle, okay? And realize we're all not gonna be in the military forever. I don't care if you're doing 4, 5, or 20 years in the military or 30, you're eventually going to get out. So what kind of life do you want when you get out? Because I'm telling you, real estate can be a great way to get there. Even if you're not, you don't wanna be a landlord, you don't wanna manage properties, that's okay. That you don't have to. I've met veterans, heck, I am helping a couple right now in San Diego that they've been stationed in a couple locations and they own 3 homes, all right? You can, and like thankfully they were able to set it up to where after a couple years of living there, they can afford to pay a property manager to manage it for them, all right? It's an easy process, don't let it stress you out, but being in the military, you have such a luxury to really build wealth. And when you get out, you're gonna set yourself up. Like when I got out of the military and went 80 grand in debt, I wished I had done a lot more sooner before I had gotten out of the military, including buying a primary residence, including buying more rental properties, just because that's what I wanted to do, starting that business. Like, I know we work like crazy in the military, but making this decision here, even if it's in San Diego, is something you really need to consider. Don't let it concern you. I have Enlisted coming here, we're like, oh, they psych themselves out all the time. Like before they even get here, they are, oh, you know what? I can't afford anything. I can't get anything. I can't get that big house on the corner. So therefore, I should not buy. And that's ridiculous. Look, I'm telling you right now, like it is as much, this is coming from someone who's not from San Diego. I've only been here since 2014. It's a great place to buy real estate. Maybe you don't want to live here forever. That's okay. This city does well for real estate because a lot of people who do want to live here. So, to wrap everything up, it can be a good decision. make sure it's an informed one. So if you want to get help getting something here in San Diego, I don't care if you're in debt, you don't know if you can qualify, you just want to have a conversation. This number popping up below is how you can get a hold of me. You can call, text, or email. It does not matter. Let's walk through what's your situation, what are you trying to do, how can I help you, what do you need? Let's go through everything, because if you have the information, you can make an informed decision. Don't listen to the media, don't listen to everyone who's telling you what to do. It depends on your situation, your finances, and if it's a good decision. Because just because it's good for me or someone else does not mean it's good for you. So don't listen to your staff sergeant. Look, I get it. They're older. It doesn't mean they know best, right? Make sure you talk to someone who's in this every single day. And specifically, everyone helps veterans. I get it. Personally, I helped a lot of other people before I was really focused on helping people like you. But now I just, in San Diego, I don't want to help anyone else. Because you are in a position where you need help getting out of debt. You need help building your wealth. You need help creating that plan before you get out of the military. And that's what I love to do. And that's what we do here at our team. So if you need help, you can reach out. I'm always loving to have that conversation, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.